Okay, so this is the ball bounces and settles animation demo, part 2. All right, so first things first, let's just double check our settings, certain particular settings. For example, make sure your auto keyframe is set to off, which is down here. You see that little plus sign and little arrows kind of going like this and like that, that one. Make sure this is not red. Make sure this is not red. If it is red, that means your auto keyframe is on, okay? And auto keyframe, basically what it does is where anytime you do any kind of movement, it'll set a keyframe, okay? So you want to have this like this. Do not have it in red. All right, so you want it off, because if you have it on and while you're learning, there's just more chance of things screwing up and setting keyframes where there shouldn't be by accident. So just make sure it's just off. All right, good. Let me just do that. Next, we're gonna make us create a static hold from frames 1 through 5. Okay, so frame 1. You know what? Just to make sure you go under select. This is off. Make sure this is off, just to make double sure. If this is on, this will just cause a lot of headache. All right. So at frame 1, okay, select everything. See how everything's selected. All right, select everything. Make sure there's no keyframe. This is our scene from scratch. Then hit S. Once you hit S, all of this expands, right? And you'll notice, I'm going to move this out of the way, these are your keyframes. Right? If I select, and this looks like there's only 2, but it's not. It's all these controllers, and their corresponding like their movements, you know, translate X, Y, and Z, rotate, and scale. They're all keyframed. See? And when I select it like that, okay, I select it. When there's a box, that means that there's an active keyframe. That you know, all of these are keyframed. Over here, all of it's keyframed. See? All right, so frame 1, right? I set a keyframe, selected everything, press S. Then I'm gonna go to frame 5. So I'm gonna just hold on Alt and the greater than sign. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's 4 frames. So it has to end on 5. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait, it's 4 frames. Hit S. Right. So as you can see, and I'm expanding this. Remember, it's Alt and Shift, Alt and Shift, and you can drag left to right. And again, that's Alt and Shift. I can also Alt and Shift and right mouse button, right? What that does is, like I mentioned, manipulates it. And Alt and right mouse buttons zooms in. Okay, again, Alt Shift, right mouse button, hold, and you can go drag it up and down, right? Or left to right to show you know, the curve at a better way. Alt Shift and right mouse button, just remember that to kind of show constrained scaling. This is super needed, and you have to remember this. I talked about it before. All right, so I did that. There's your static hold, and I chose from frames 1 through 5, which is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 frames. Okay, because 4 frames is just enough time for the human eye to just catch and read something. 4 frames, you know, and this is at 24 frames per second. It'll feel different when it's set to 30 frames per second, because the timing is different, right? So again, 4 frames is just enough to read something in place. And I'll give you an example. Here's the exact file, okay? And it's exactly 4 frames. See that? I'm gonna play the animation. Alt and V. See? So it's just right here. It ends there. See? And then it's gonna loop over to here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just enough where it's not too long, where there's a dead lull, you know, and it's not too fast where it's immediate. It's just that little millisecond. Right, so that's what that is, and I'm showing it and explaining it. Now you know why. Okay, static hold. Italicize it and turn it up. Now we're gonna squash it from frame 5 to frame 9. That's, hold on, Alt, greater than sign. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, 4 frames to go down. Select everything, make sure everything is selected, hit S. Right, again, remember I'm teaching it where you select everything so that you hammer down all the major spots and not just choose individual controllers, right? That way you know what is what. They're major landmark indicators. Right. So I just did just a S for Sam, just to hit a keyframe. Then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna grab this, the top squash, because I want to squash it. Okay. So my top squash controller, which is him right there. And always know your front view, okay? Don't be doing something like this where you're animating from the back or you're animating from the left. See how easy it is to get confused? I'm gonna squish it. Something like what? Something like, 2.5 something around there, But now I have to hit S. See what happened after I hit S? I set a manual keyframe. Now you can see this represents the Y. It's green colored, representing Y right here, and going down. Going down, what do you mean by going down? It's a negative 2.5-ish, right? 2.5-ish, translate Y, the value, squishing down. And 2.5, what do you mean by 2.5? That's like 2.5 units, like here. From here, okay, watch this. 1, 2, 3. That's only, oh, wait. It's not 2.5 units. It's, the marker, like, so here, 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 yeah, it goes down this much, right, down to a negative value of here, which is negative 2.535, and this is that. See the numbers, corresponding numbers, right? Okay, so we did that. Boom. Okay. And then, so we squished it. I'm gonna go into here, right? Minus sign. Okay, so we squished it. Good. So we have our squish. Let's play it. Alt and V. See? Squat. Put here. Squish. Squish. Alright, good. Okay. Alright, so, but you'll notice something. So look at my, you know how wide the ball is, right? It's mass. It's mass. Okay. Look at this end point right here, right? And then when I squish it, when I press the greater than sign, just the greater than sign, see how much the mass expands even though squishing? Like that's a lot. See, I'm gonna press the less than sign to go back, and then greater than sign. See how different it looks. So if this were a traditional drawn animation, it's a bit too much. It's like, what the hell, man, you know? So, and you have to kind of, and the reason why it does that, where it expands so much, is that this controller, right, this top squash, when it squishes it down, you know, it pancakes it, but you know, it does it too much. So I have to kind of cheat and counteract that, you know, so it doesn't look so much and it's distracting basically. So what I do is make sure you are on that keyframe, that 9 keyframe where it squishes down. I'm gonna grab my center of gravity, right, the main guy that I always talk about. I'm gonna press R and I'm gonna cheat and kind of fake it so that it loosens it up. Not loosens it up, but it makes it less noticeable. So, for example, translate X and Z. That's going this way and this way. The scale, basically your constrained scale, right? And it won't affect going down. I mean, scaling up. Here, I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna hold down Control and click here. All right. Main thing is hold on Control. So you click and click. That way you manipulate this and this. Type in like 0.9. See the height is still the same. Okay. And then, but remember, I have to hit S. Set the key, and you see how it changed? See that? It's better. Okay. So it's a whole lot less, right? Because normally it's gonna stretch up to here, like 5 units. All right. But since I did that, you know, it still squashes all this much down, but it's less wider, so it maintains it. See? So for example, if I go boom, boom, see, from here, 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 see, that's to maintain the volume. This is really important. It looks like I'm nitpicking, but I'm not. It will really irk you when you notice that the mass is kind of wobbling, you know, all over the place. All right, so 0.9. Okay, good. Oh, and also when I look here, the center of gravity, the one that I animated, right, the X and Z scale. Okay. You notice this is what it is. This is, if I select that, okay, you notice here and here, but the Y is left alone. That's why it's straight and static. This means a negative scale, you know, going from 1, watch, 1 to a negative. So it's going negative value. Yeah. And like I said, I did all of that just to offset that, you know, super wide pancake look that was created because of him. You know? All right. Hopefully that makes sense. You know, I have to explain it. I can't just keep on doing it and just have students follow along, like, you know. All right. So let me play Alt and V as in Victor. See? It's a nice squash. I like the shape. Boom, nice. All right, now I'm gonna do the a moving hold, but it's not literally moving, but it's a hold. Holding the squash. I should name it that. Holding yeah, holding squash. And what do I mean by a holding squash? Well, I'll bring over this file, okay? And oh god, right, just so I can. So so here's our squash, right? Remember, and then 9 to here, okay? And it's a slight difference. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, I left it here so that it stays on the ground, you know, so it squishes and then bop, bop, bop. And this is what you call like a moving hold, so that it needs time to kind of expand, you know, to release its energy, right? It needs time, just like 1, 2, 3, 3 frames where it squash, and then 3 frames to kind of release its contraction, you know, because it has to release all that pent up energy. So it just bam, and then 1, 2, 3, and then boom. So that's a bit of a timing and spacing trickery. Anyway, so that's your holding squash. Let's do that. So I'm gonna select everything, right? Select everything, see all that. And again, to go from major keyframes is your greater than sign or your less than sign to go back and forth. Now, like I said, 9 to 12. Here's 9, 9. Boom, boom, boom. Set a keyframe S, right? That, like I said, is grab all the controllers. Now I'm gonna change it up a bit to do my moving hold. Alright, so the moving hold, right? Just remember where you are always on the keyframe. Frame 12 is going to be where it kind of slightly expands, right? So I'm going to grab my top squash. I'm going to yank it a bit. Like, yank, 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 yank. Something like, I don't know, like 1.5-ish, right? You see? I'll hit S. Look what happened. This is my translate Y. Right? I went from a negative, like, you know, negative 2.5-ish, and then it expanded up to a negative 1.5-ish, right? So just this is what we're doing and understanding. It's a gradual pickup. It's curve. Let's play it. Right? It's a bit of a, you know, moving hold, you could say. And then when I go forward, okay, watch. See that? From here, it's a lot of change in mass. All right, let me go here as well. So here we are, okay, and forward. See? But what if I wanted for it to be a little bit bottom heavy, right? And what if I want it to be not so drastic from this squash? This is at frame 9, and then see how much it contracts? What if I want it to be a little bit more here to really control how much the volume expands and contracts? So I kind of want to do that, okay? Because maintaining, controlling the rate of volume expansion and contraction, it's pretty important. So what I'm going to do is where, for example, spacebar, my bottom squash, remember him. I'm gonna counteract this. Again, the point is I want it to be a little bit more bottom heavy rather than like this, the middle heavy. Okay, and I'm gonna counteract it. I'm gonna just select all of my scale, right, for the bottom squash on frame 12, okay, you know, and I'm gonna just set to like 1.1. So give it more, you know, mass. I'm gonna press S, so it stays put. If I don't press S and I move the key, it's gonna snap back to just what it was previously. You have to hit S. Okay, so if I go space bar, you know, it kind of gave more, a little bit more mass. Okay, so it's not so drastic. So I'm gonna undo it just to show. See, this was before, this is after. Okay, even that seems not like a lot, but you know, to have good animation, you need to do things like that. It separates your animation from all the other stuff out there. Anyway, I set to 1.1 for the bottom squash. I kind of expanded it, okay? And then, now, so here I am. Okay, I just pause the video for a bit. Alright, so this is where we left off just now. Okay, I press 5 just to be in gray mode, but you could press 6 to show it. I just want 5 for now. And I grabbed onto my COG ball control, which is this guy right there. See him? And for example, you know, remember I said to 0.9 to make it less wide and looking more like a pancake wide. All right, well now on this part, I want it to be pushed out a bit more. So see this wide, how wide it is. Maybe I want to kind of tuck it out a bit more. So this is it's at 0.9, and here at frame 12, I'm going to set to 0.963, just to give it a little bit more fat. And now I'll hit S. Okay, that's on frame 12. I had selected this, hold down Control, left click, so you select both of it, set it to 0.963, okay, and you hit S on frame 12. Alright, so squish, it still holds just enough volume, because this is only 1, 2, 3 frames. So at 3 frames, you see how it's just enough. Boom, 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 boom. See my mass? Boom, boom, boom. This is what I wanted, and that's with my ball control. So review the top, the bottom squash. Right, this guy. All right. On frame 12, I kind of gave it more bottom heavy. Set to 1.1 and hit S for your bottom squash on frame 12. Then on my ball control, remember it was set to 0.9 and 0.9, and then on frame 12, I made it a little bit more girthy, set to 0.963, just a tad bit more to have fine-tuned control of my mass. Yeah, so that was like what, 24 minutes, and let me just do that. All right, so we did all of that, and I don't care if I'm kind of going kind of slow, you know, because at least I'm explaining everything and the thoughts and reasons behind it and how to do it. You know, I'd rather be precise and accurate and meticulous. It would have been nice to go over all of it, all of this. That would have been half the animation. So that was what, 25 minutes. And I'm looking down here because this is my timer over here, but you guys don't see it. All right, let's play it out. See how gradual that was? Let me dial this back here. My range slider. Blah, 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 blah. So here. See, my whole point is I want it to be natural and not herky-jerky, you know, like distracting. And you see the watch. See from here, see? It's just enough to be noticeable, but not too drastic. See? Where I'm maintaining volume control. Okay? That's the whole point. Alright, that's it. Next one is gonna be this, and this. And we're gonna almost be done actually. Okay, bye.